Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about a weird old Hungarian gun called the Frummer 1910. And these were produced for just a couple years between 1910 and 1912 in very limited numbers. They're extremely hard to find today, and because of that, there's just really not very much information about them. So, which is unfortunate because I'd like to talk more about the history and background and details and stuff like that, but I just really haven't been able to find much about them. So, I just thought I would talk sort of about my experience with it, sort of give an overview of how it works and how it comes together and everything. I think they're pretty weird and unusual, and people who subscribe to my channel probably would be interested in hearing about it. So anyway, getting started, it's like I said, it's the Frummer 1910, and it was designed by Rudolf Frummer, who is mostly known for, I think, his Frummer 1912 model, the stop pistol. And these aren't really super common either, but they're definitely more so than the 1910 model. His whole sort of gimmick was to try to put John Browning's long recoil action into semi-auto handguns. You know, the long recoil action was mostly seen in like the Browning Auto 5 shotgun and a few rifles at the time, but Frummer was trying to cram it into a handgun and make it work. And this right here, the 1910, is basically the final iteration of what started out with the 1901 model, which was fed through the top through a stripper clip, and then the 1906 came a few years later and had a few more improvements, and finally the 1910 came out, which has, among other things, grip safety here. You know, it has a magazine, like traditional style magazine, with the release right there. It's just a little bit more of a traditional gun, but it was sort of the end of the line for this style of gun before he moved on to the 1912 a couple years later, which was by far more successful, more ergonomic, more just better in every way, basically. So that's really about the only historical information I've been able to find about these. So if anyone knows anything else, you know, please do let me know. Give you a little closer look at it right now. But as far as details on the gun go, it is chambered in 7.65 Roth-Sauer, or also known as 7.65 Frummer, which is not the same as 32 ACP, and that's definitely something that I've seen online, is that people think that this gun can chamber 32 ACP, which it cannot. 32 ACP is too long to fit in there, and I'll give you a little demonstration of that in a minute, but it's actually chambered in 7.65 Roth-Sauer, and it's a single action semi-auto handgun, obviously. I'll talk at first about the appearance, because one thing you'll notice is it's probably about the only gun in my collection that gives my Dardic a run for the money in the ugly category. It's got wood grips. It's all steel. It was originally blued, but they're real tough to find in good condition. And when you do find them in good condition, they are astronomically priced. You know, I tend to be a stickler for condition, but this one was. It's got a nice patina, I think, so didn't really mind that. So as far as size goes, I'll do my usual size comparison with the Beretta 92 here. Love to give you the weight, but unfortunately my scale's battery ran out today, and I'll just annotate that once I can get a new battery in there. But you can see the size of it. It's actually really small, in my opinion. I mean, the Beretta's pretty big, but this gun just feels pretty dainty and small, really. Not a big gun at all. It doesn't weigh a lot either, but like I said, I'll annotate the exact weight in there once I get a new battery for my scale. And as far as the ergonomics go, let's talk about that for a minute. The ergonomics are quite bad, in my opinion at least. It just doesn't feel good in the hand really at all. I mean, you probably could expect that just from looking at how weird it looks. But I'll show you some of the features. Like, for example, there's a grip safety here, which is kind of hard to squeeze and pull the trigger at the same time. Just for me at least, it's just hard to get a good squeeze on the grip safety and hold on to the gun at the same time. So that's bad ergonomically. The hammer, I guess, isn't too hard to cock. I'll show you that. So, and then you have to push that in order to fire it. Just the hammer and the firing pin. Sights are tiny, which was pretty much the style at the time, to have tiny sights, but I'm sure it would make it hard to shoot accurately, or you know, to pull it up and get a good sight picture is not going to happen. Over here you have a little button, or sort of a screw really. This is how you take the gun apart, is you push in this little spring-loaded button on the side of the screw, and then that lets you unscrew it, and then from there it releases this plate on the side, and then you can put a little screwdriver in here and pry it up. It's kind of neat on the inside because all the parts are so oversized it almost looks just sort of like a Fisher-Price toy or something, because everything is just gigantic in there, and the way it fits together, it's kind of neat. But and there's the trigger. It's single action only. Magazine release, I'll show that to you. Pull the magazine out, single stack. Put that back in. It's got some little knurls on the tip of the barrel, which, to be honest, I haven't figured out exactly how to take the whole thing apart yet. I have taken off the side plate and I've taken out the bolt and the inside, but I have a feeling that this barrel untwists in some way, but I haven't been able to figure out how that works exactly because it's actually a little bit spring-loaded. See how the barrel can actually go backwards? It's all part of the long recoil system. As far as shooting it goes, I haven't actually shot it, which I kind of alluded to earlier, is that the ammo is not commonly available. A lot of information online says that these things shot 32 ACP, which is not true at all. What happened was, back in the day when these were around, they shot what was called 7.65 Frommer, which was a proprietary cartridge designed just for this gun. Later on, the Frommer 1912, the stop model, also shot 7.65 Frommer, but it was a different size 7.65 Frommer. It was a little bit longer. It was basically exactly the same as 32 ACP. So I think what happened is people hear that this thing shoots 7.65 Frommer, so does this, so therefore they must shoot the same gun, the same caliber, which is 32 ACP. Unfortunately, this was a different size cartridge. It was actually just another name for the 7.65 Roth-Sauer at the time, which is a little bit shorter. And I will even show you. I have a couple 32 ACP cartridges pulled out. They will not fit in this gun at all. You put it in, and it just doesn't go in all the way. You can even see that it's just too long to fit in there, as opposed to something like the 1912, which is designed for the later 7.65 Frommer or the 32 ACP, and it fits just fine, and it fires just fine and everything. So let me just go on record as authoritatively stating that this thing will not shoot 32 ACP, and I'm going to have to try to produce some trim down some 32 ACP cartridges to get them to fit in here, because it's basically the same thing, this 7.65 Roth-Sauer. So I'm going to have to try to learn how to reload and produce my own cartridges for this if I'm ever going to shoot it, which I do intend to do. I know I've been stringing you guys along with the Dardic and the Gyrojet shooting videos, but I'll make a shooting video of this too at some point once I'm able to produce some ammo for it. I'll show you the trigger pull real fast, which I'm not going to do a lot because I'm sure this is prone to breaking the firing pin or something, but just to show you guys. So I have to push the grip safety in, hammer's cocked, and you pull the trigger. Decent amount of travel. And it's pretty mushy. It's not terrible, it's not heavy or anything really, it's just a little bit mushy. Once it gets back there, it's just kind of in and it just goes. But trigger could definitely be improved for sure. I'll show you one more time. So you can see the travel a little bit. It goes in a little, and then with a little bit of mush and some creep, it eventually fires. The actual bolt design on this is kind of interesting too. We'll talk about that for a second. Just that it all travels with inside here. There's no real slide, and this bolt comes out. It comes out like that. You can see inside there. And this here is the is sort of the bolt release, or equivalent to the slide release. This button on the side. So when you pull that down, this will shoot forward and would chamber around if I had any rounds. Just like that, and then it's ready to fire. And I've taken this apart. It's not too hard actually to take apart, and you can take this whole bolt assembly out. And like I said, this barrel thing, this knurled barrel still remains in there, and I'm not sure exactly how to get that out, but you can take out sort of all the guts and to clean it, I guess, just to look inside. But so, you know, as far as criticisms go, it's another one of those guns where it's just sort of, it is what it is. It obviously didn't gain much traction anywhere in the world. Even in Hungary, it didn't really get anywhere. The 1912, the stop model, eventually replaced this in basically every aspect it was ever used in. So this wasn't really an overly popular design, probably mostly because it's just not very ergonomic to be able to hold it, squeeze this. It just doesn't work very well. Sights are tiny. I don't know if it's reliable or not, but it certainly looks strange. And the more conventional 1912 was just a better gun all around. So, you know, in conclusion, these 1910s are extremely hard to find, especially in working order. I have seen a few that were completely broken, basically. So, I mean, if you ever do come across one and you're interested at all, probably wouldn't be a bad thing to snap up because you don't see them very frequently. This one's pretty patinaed, but kind of like it in these older guns, having a little bit of character to them. you just kind of get a look around it. And I wish I could, I'm a language buff and I enjoy learning about languages and everything, but Hungarian is pretty much beyond me. I wish I could pronounce this correctly. So, it's the Frummer 1910. Weird old gun, chambered in a cartridge that I have never been able to find. I'm going to have to kind of wing it on that, get some 32 ACP and trim them down to shoot them, but it should be fun. Show you the trigger pull one more time. See, even right there I tried squeezing it, but I couldn't get it because I wasn't engaged in the grip safety all the way. There you go. So that's the Frummer 1910. Weird old gun from Hungary. Thanks for watching.